For newcomers. As a newcomer, what do you need to know? Your first time coming to Qatar, what definitely you need to understand? Yes, when we look at some of the labor laws and some of the guidelines, thank you so much for coming back here to Mexcreationtv. By the way, is it your first time to come across Mexcreationtv? Don't hesitate to give him a subscribe. My name is Mex. My TikTok account is Mexcreation. Yes, at I am Mex. Facebook account is Mex Samuel. Then my Instagram account is Mex Samuel. Definitely you can also find me in some of those places, also in some of those platforms, sharing some of the bit of what I know and my own experience regarding to living in Gulf, living in Qatar and these small Gulf countries. Definitely that can enable you to survive. Yes, most of us who thought of coming to these Gulf countries, particularly I'll talk on behalf of what we call Qatar. Yes, you are planning to come to Qatar and it's your first time as a newcomer. However, something that you need to understand as you are coming to this Gulf country, there is what we call a practical and easy follow-up guide on what we call the Qatar labor laws for newcomers. Yes, perfect if you are just arriving and planning to work in Qatar. This video is made for you. Yes, when we come to Qatar, or what we call the Qatar labor laws, there is a guide for newcomers. As a newcomer, what do you need to know? Your first time coming to Qatar, what definitely you need to understand? Yes, when we look at some of the labor laws and some of the guide of according to the law, is that if it's your first time to come in Qatar, unemployment contract is mandatory. Yes, to your company, you must sign what we call an employment contract before you start up what we call a job. The contract should be in Arabic and English or your native language. Then it should be registered with what you call the Ministry of Labor. Though some of you have come and you've not even, from the day one you came in, you've not seen what you call your contract. However, something still I need to let you know, always keep a copy of your contract with you. Then two, there's what you call working hours and overtime. This is regular working hours. Maximum is supposed to be 8 hours, that is per day. And that is what you call 48 hours, that is per week. During Ramadan, it's only 6 hours per day. Then overtime is paid at what you call 125% and 150 on holiday and what you call rest days. For those that are planning to come to Qatar, yes, you must get what you call a weekly rest day. To those that are so lucky, it has been that Friday, they rest on Friday. To those that are not so lucky, then the company has to organize for you another rest day. Then when we look at what you call the minimum wage, if you are coming to Qatar for the first time, there is a minimum wage. That is the basic wage that was gazetted March 2021 for the first time. And those minimum wage that definitely you should understand is that it is non-discriminatory. It's a minimum wage, it's non-discriminatory for everyone. Yes, Qatar Real 1,000, that is the basic. Then food allowance, normally food allowance is 300. Then accommodation allowance, 300. However, in this situation, it will depend. If your company, if you're working 8 hours in that company, and the company is giving you food and accommodation, you'll be entitled to 1,000. If the company is giving you accommodation but not food, you'll be entitled to what we call 1,300, depending on all situations. Then we look at what we call health insurance and what we call the medical insurance. Yes, you are entitled by law to have what you call unhealthy insurance, which is mandatory for all employers. You have the right to request your employer or your sponsor to provide you with what we call an healthy card in case of anything where you need to get what you call subsidized medical treatment in the government facilities. Yes, then we look at use of Metrash. Yes, as a newcomer, you should learn how to use the Metrash, because when you look at the Metrash app, Metrash app is your gateway to everything, which include visa, QID information, job transfer requests, exit permit applications, and also what you call the labor complaints. So as soon as you receive what you call your QID, make sure you download the Metrash app very fast on your mobile. Although most of you have taken it lightly when it comes to downloading the Metrash app, and you've ended up not being able even to follow up some of those issues that will be with your QID. Then when we look at 6 changing jobs and sponsorship, yes, Qatar allows you to change what we call change jobs and sponsorship. However, you need to first understand what is the contract saying. Have you completed 1 year of service with that company? Yes, you are eligible to change. NOC is not required. Is NOC required? If it is required, yes. If it is not, but most of the time NOC is not required. Look, when, for example, if we are saying that it's not required for change of sponsorship, so those are some of the things, the basics that definitely you should know if you are planning to come to Qatar for the first time.